So the Prophet of Allah asked about these days. He said, Messenger of Allah, those days, the people take it as a day of celebration. So he said, لَقَدْ أَبْدَلَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِهِمَا خَيْرًا مِّنْهُمَا عِيدُ الْفِطْرِ وَعِيدُ الْأَضْحَى. Prophet ﷺ, he said, verily Allah the Almighty had replaced these 2 days with a better 2 days, that is Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Since that word of the Prophet ﷺ, none of the Muslims had celebrated those days that they used to celebrate for a long time before the arrival of the Prophet ﷺ. You know how hard it is to erase from the memory of the people the days that they used to celebrate from the childhood, even from the ancestors, from the forefathers, and so on and so forth. They've been celebrating these days, and somebody comes and they say, no, this is not right. That is the Prophet ﷺ, and they adhere to it. There is no celebration after that whatsoever. Not any hint or anything that would make you look like, or even a person that was maybe having a symbol that is getting closer to that Eid. For example, a man came and he said, Messenger of Allah, I vowed to slaughter in Bawana, a place not far away from the Medina. I vowed to slaughter in Bawana. So this is a vow. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said that you need to fulfill the vow. But the vow is no good, because all the time it comes out from the stingy. The person who's stingy always makes a vow to force himself to pay sadaqah or give money. And usually it is the vow always be hooked to something that he would say, oh Allah, if you do this to me, I will such and such do that for you. And this is, as I said, you're making a conditional vow on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he said it is totally prohibited. And our Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen as well, he said the vow is not good. But if you have done it, you have to fulfill it. So he said, I vowed to slaughter a camel in Bawana. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, is there any idol worship beside Allah in that place? Companions answered, no, Messenger of Allah. There is no idols there. Hasn't been an idol. So even if there's no idol, but if there was to be an idol before, the Prophet ﷺ would prohibit him straight away. Even if the idol is not there, but if, he said, was there any idols worship beside Allah? He said, no, Messenger of Allah. Was that a place where people used to take it as a Eid? Never mind now if the idols, Eid day, people come to that place and celebrate their Eid day. Like for example, the Ansari celebrate their Eid, but not in Bawana, in Medina itself. They said, no, Messenger of Allah. Then he lets him to fulfill his vow, even though he doesn't like it. The scholars, they said they don't like it. Why? Why do you need to make a vow to go and slaughter camels in somewhere else where it is easier for you to slaughter in the Medina? Why did you specify that place? And that's why the Prophet of Allah had to make sure it is not linked to anything to do with shirk, that is a wathan, that is a statue, an idol to be worshipped, or linked to a festival, even that festival. So here the Prophet ﷺ, he did not say, is that the same day is going to be the festival? No, he asked about even that place, if it's been the festival being celebrated in that place. Whether it is before or after on that same day you're going to slaughter, it doesn't make a difference. Prohibition will take place. You're not allowed to look like or to do something that would aid you to go into the celebrations of the Kuffar. Wal-iyadu billah. So, because of that, and because of a hadith also from the Prophet ﷺ, that he prohibited us to imitate the Kuffar, because the imitation will make you closer to them in the heart. من تشبه بقوم فهو منهم. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he says, لا يشبه الزي الزي حتى يشبه القلب القلب. That the clothes will not look alike unless the hearts looking alike. So if you have even closeness into your clothes, the way that you dress up, it's like the way that the dressing up of the kuffar, then the heart will be as well as close. So it is actually a natural thing, a universal law. That when you have two people looking alike, they have tendency to have the same as well methodology, the same heart, if they look like each other. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he wanted to make a separate entity, a separate identity. So it's an entity and it's ID for the Muslim, a separate individuality for the Muslim, totally away from the kuffar. Everything that the disbelievers used to do, the Prophet ﷺ asked the Muslim to do the other way around. Until the Jews, they said, this man is not living anything in our religion except that he says the other way. So the Prophet ﷺ, he told us to go and eat with the women who are on their menses, no problem. Where the Jews, they isolate them and they call them beasts. Can't approach them. Prophet ﷺ, he said, pray in your shoes and be different from the Jews. The Jews, they don't pray with your shoes. So you pray with your shoes when it is possible to be different from the Jews. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the Christians and the Jews, they don't die. So die for the person who gets grey hair. And you know the person when he is getting old, always gets worries as well. Or maybe because of his inheritance, something which he inherited, that he gets grey hair. And this is from, something human being. Same thing, the disbelievers, they grow up and they get worries, and as well they inherit, they get grey hair. That as well, I need to be different from them. So it's not just the imitation, but it even commanded to be different from them. So there's two different levels here. Not to imitate, and not to what? As well, to be different from them. It's an upper level. So I have seen them, they get grey hair. Now when I get grey hair, I'm not really imitating them. But I need to be different from them. So I dye my hair. So for those old people, the ones who got grey hair, it is from the Sunnah, not to say that our Shaykh al-Albani used to say, it is compulsory to make ourselves different from them. Prophet ﷺ, as soon as he arrived to Mecca, Abu Quhafa, the father of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he comes and he's got white hair at the top, white beard. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, fix him. Now, he is an old man. Abu Bakr is 2 years younger than the Prophet ﷺ. And when the Prophet of Allah entered Mecca, it was only when he was 59. So Abu Bakr was 57 years old. So how old do you think his father? Do you think he's after women when he dyed his hair? He's not after women. He's too old. But fix him. Even though he's not really going to be sort of important for his wife to look in like night, but fix him to be different from those kuffar. For very the Christian and the Jews, they don't die. So we have to be different in our individuality, in our entity. Our identity is a Muslim. And for the fathers and the mothers, they have a responsibility upon the child to make sure that they don't resemble the kuffar in anything. And then we're going to discuss that inshallah in a minute. How can the Muslims be far away from the kuffar? And how the Muslim should be avoiding involving himself in such things that will make him closer to the kuffar. First of all, we'll say that some people, they believe that if we make festivals according to what the kuffar they do, but we turn them into ibadah, is no problem. So, for example, they say, and this is today an argument or a debate took between me and somebody who's a sister. She left her place where there's separation. She came down because there's no microphone to challenge me regarding birthdays, because she believes that the birthdays are okay. Now, you'll be, some of you are laughing or smiling, and some of you, but you'll be surprised. Well, what's wrong with birthdays? You see, but the argument was put for me today is that this birthday is a birthday that we don't do that like the Westerners. We don't really have cakes, don't have any candles. We, remember the greatness and the blessings of Allah that He has given birth to me. SubhanAllah, I've never seen a birthday where people recite Quran. Only recite Quran when somebody dies. They don't recite Quran when they somebody born. I said, okay, something, sister, this is even worse. If it was with candles and cakes, it would have been just your imitation of the kuffar. But this is becoming a bid'ah now. You are trying to make an ibadah in which you're getting closer to Allah that hasn't been authenticated or approved by the Prophet of Allah and his companions. So you're telling me now, on your birthday, you're reciting Quran. Why? Because you want to get closer to Allah. Did the Prophet ﷺ do it? Did the companions do it? When is your birthday? She said she wouldn't want it. She was shy to give it. I said, I don't want the year that you've been born in. Just tell me the date. She said to me, such and such in September. See, look, even you've adapted the Christian system, the Western system in dating your birthday, not even the Islamic date. How many of you knows his birth date in Islamic? How many? Put your finger up if you know, please. I will ask you. Nobody. How many of you knows his birthday in the solar system, Christian year? Come on, put your finger up. Everybody. None of you knows his date of birth in Islamic. None of you know which year. Somebody asked me, when are you born? I said, I'm born in 85. What? You look older than that? So, Wallahi, I'm born in 85. But 1385. Because he thinks 1985. I was born in 1385. But he doesn't know the Islamic date. He only knows Islamic dates when it's Ramadan. He knows Islamic dates when it is, for example, Ashura, when it is the day of Arafah, when it is the Eid of Adha, when Eid al-Fitr. But now, how many of you knows the Islamic date? If I ask somebody, what is the Islamic year? You know, brother, the Islamic year? Which year we are living in? 1435. No, don't worry. This is something common. 1435. Which month are we living in? Nobody knows. It's Safar. Somebody knows Safar. Which day? Now, I'm struggling. I'll tell you what. What is the Christian date? 15. Add 3 days. How about that? Simple? So, if it's add 3 days now at the moment. Right, so 18th of Safar. Now, Safar. You know what's going to happen next month? According to some of the Muslims? Rabi' al-Awwal. What do they celebrate? The Eid al-Mawlid. This Eid al-Mawlid, the birth of the Prophet ﷺ. Exactly the same argument they say. In the birth we are remembering the Prophet ﷺ, making dua, reading Quran, making nasheed, making poetry, drawn out. That's what they say. We say to them, alright, I'm not going to talk about what happens as well, which is more than that, which is free mixing, men and women, dancing with, I've seen it, dancing with each other. I've got it on here, on footage. And as well, they make, for example, lots of shirk, they make poetry, in which they praise the Prophet ﷺ, that he knows the unseen. They as well, they make rituals in which they, Hazar Nazar, you heard about the word Hazar Nazar? They think the Prophet of Allah as well, he comes to, celebrate his birthday with them, as well. So all of that, celebration by putting ribbon in their masajid. Have you seen it? Lights as well outside. All of that. I'm not going to talk about this. Let's say that you are doing the ibadah. This ibadah, it has to be authenticated by the Prophet of Allah or his companions. Did the Prophet of Allah celebrate the birthday of his? Did the companions celebrate the birthday of his? Did they do that? Did they celebrate the birthday of each other? Have you ever heard about Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr got together and they put a cake with it, 60 candles, that's how old he is, for example, and then they started singing and then they blow the candles and the candles went off. I mean, when I say about this, people, it's such a stupid thing, isn't it? You can't do. But why people they're doing it for their children. If you think this is not really good, if you think this is really naive, why some mothers, they're defending the birthdays? Why? Do you know why? Because of ignorance. That's number one. Number two, because of the winds. Number three, because of the environment. Okay? And number four, al-iyadhu billah, some people, they have shaitan to follow. Those are the four factors. Shaitan, whims and desire, the environment, and as I said, the ignorance. Four factors makes the person, get closer to the kuffar. Makes the person adapt from the Western societies and from the kuffar society. I'm not saying you can't adopt anything. No, you could, for example, compete with them regarding how to manufacture a plane. We haven't got a single Muslim country that they can manufacture a plane. They're very good in manufacturing bid'ah and innovation in the religion. Very easy. But we want them to be competing in industry. They don't do that. So they're not really competing with that issue. That's no problem. So we're not saying, for example, a plane is a bid'ah. Go and burn it. No. Plane is okay. Because it's a dunya. The dunya matters. Prophet ﷺ, he said, Antum a'lamu bi umuri dunyakum. You know better than me regarding your dunya. But for the religion, everything is not allowed except if it's been authenticated by his messenger, by the messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The dunya, no problem. So if you want to invent a laptop, you want to put a screw here, you don't look in the Quran or the Sunnah, how can I put the screw? Where should I put it? It's been left for you. You can't find a hadith, make the screen such and such. There's no such thing. It's left for you. But in the deen, I can't do anything. So, if I'm doing now a festival in which I celebrate, and as I said, it's a very important topic because the Prophet ﷺ, when he came to the Medina, the first thing he had done, he changed those 2 days and swapped them with 2 days, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Hajj. So I know that I have to make my children look forward for Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. And especially for those who are living in this country, you know for a fact that the people who are disbelievers, they don't know about your Eids. They don't make you, for example, have a holiday. I'm not saying holiday is a sunnah, but they don't make you have a holidays like our Muslim countries. When they give the ethnic minorities, to the Christians, they give them their rights, and more than that, they make them as well to be off from their work on the day of, not just themselves, everybody. So on the day of the New Year's Eve, everybody's off. Is it a holiday in Pakistan? New Year's Eve? What is our holiday in our country? Is it holiday Christmas? It's holiday in our country. So even our ethnic minority, less than 5%, but they make everybody to celebrate or to be off from that day. How can we do such a thing? Have you ever seen people from the Western community, somebody's going to the church and say, oh, what type of udhiyah we're going to be slaughtered for this year? How we don't make sure that the udhiyah as well is not blind, and make sure that the age is correct, and they're running and they're going to the slaughtering house to slaughter the udhiyah. Have you ever seen people doing like this? They're crazy. But you have seen Muslims buying Christmas tree. Yes. You have seen Muslims celebrating by sending each other Christmas cards. Yes. You have seen Muslims receiving gifts on the day of Christmas. Yes. You have seen people who are swapping flowers on the day of Valentine. Yes. Yes. But you've never seen a single non-Muslim who is concerned about slaughtering his udhiyah. Never. Why? Because of the weakness in our hearts. Because of the weakness that we are not belonging to our ummah. The ummah whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. The best of the ummah. But is it the best of the ummah when we see ourselves, subhanallah, at the back of the whole nations? We are always at the back. Froths come. Like the Prophet ﷺ, he had described us. Because we're not holding to the book and holding to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And I'm not saying here to have enmity with the disbelievers. No. You are living here in harmony. I'm not saying that we cannot, for example, we don't respect that they can believe whatever they want. I'm not respecting their beliefs. Yeah, I can't respect Kuffar. Because I respect that they could choose whatever they like, because this is the law. And they have to respect for me the same thing to, as well, believe whatever I want. Just like I respect for them to take and be no compulsion in religion. I respect that you have the right to be whatever you like. You want to be believing in Darwin theory that your ancestors are from the monkeys? Be it. I'm not going to dispute that. It's for you. Your ape, come from ape. My father does not come from an ape. It's from Adam, alayhi salam. If you want to have your, for example, you trace your lineage to Steve and Steve, Adam and Steve, not Adam and Eve, be it. I am from Adam and Eve, not from Adam and Steve. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so I respect that you have the right to believe in it. Just like you have to respect me as well, that I have to believe whatever I want. And my belief that what you believe in is not right, is wrong. And you believe that what I believe is wrong. Alright, fair enough. But we live in harmony. And we as well live with each other. We work with each other. No problem. The Prophet ﷺ died while his spear or his shield was pwned by a Jewish person for 30 sa' of barley. SubhanAllah. So he was in transaction with the Jews. There's no problem. So you don't have no problem to have the transaction. And even the country, the Muslim country, will provide protection for those who are from Ahl al-Dhimmah. But you need to know that this protection doesn't mean that I need to integrate with them, that I would share them in those festivals. How can you say to somebody, Merry Christmas? You know what you're saying? You are saying, very good that you're having a celebration in which you are celebrating the birth of the Lord. Lord, He is the Lord. You know what you say, Merry Christmas? It is worse in the sight of Allah to say to a person, very good for fornication, very good for stealing. Very good. Yeah? If you give him, hooray for stealing and for drinking, very good you're drinking, this is not as worse as saying Merry Christmas. Because Merry Christmas you are saying to him, good for taking a God, who is Isa alayhi salam, beside Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is worse in the sight of Allah. So if you had, for example, had championed him or said to him, okay to fornicate, it is bad, but it's not as bad when saying you have Merry Christmas or whatever Christmas it is, congratulations and all of that. So I need to know that the Prophet ﷺ warned us when we are living in an environment coupled with the ignorance, coupled with as well the whims and the desire, And when the person follows the shaitan, then you're going to end up imitation. Prophet ﷺ, he had said, لَتَتَّبِعُنَّ سَنَنَ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ شِبْرًا بِشِبْرٍ وَذِرَاعًا بِذِرَاعٍ حَتَّى لَوْ سَلَكُوا جُحْرَ ضَبٍّ لَسَلَكْتُمُوهُ. That is, you will follow لَتَتَّبِعُنَّ the sanan, the ways of those who were before you. Shibran bi shibr, handspan by handspan. That means everything. Called handspan by handspan. And dhira'an bi dhira', that is 2 handspan, which is dhira' is the arm. Arm is 2 handspan. That means al-nahwa al-quddati bil-qudda, to the letter. Birthdays, they'll have birthdays. Exactly the same. Birthdays of their prophet, birthdays of our prophet. Exactly the same. Everything they do, we will do it. قال حتى لو سلكوا جحر ضب. Even if they go into the lizard. Lizard is here a ضب. A ضب is a big lizard which lives in the desert. It makes holes and it's a crooked hole. And it goes because it makes it from one side to go to another side. So even if you have this hole like the lizard, you will follow them. Even it's difficult, but you'll follow them exactly the same. قال في رواية عند طبراني, also in Tabarani narration, حتى لو أن أحدهم ضاجع أمه في الطريق لفعلت مثل ذلك. Even if some of them had to fornicate with his mother, you will do the same thing. The letter to the letter. Why? Because of ignorance. And the ignorance does not make me not to address you and tell you and admonish you. For verily, remember the hadith Abi Waqid al-Laythi in Sahih Bukhari. He said, after the repossession of Mecca, and the companions went together to head towards Hunayn for the sake of fighting those disbelievers from the Arabs, idolaters who wanted to fight the Muslims. So the companions, they were more than 10,000, and this is the biggest number, the biggest army. And Abu Waqid al-Laythi, he said, we were حُدَثَاءَ عَهْدٍ بِإِسْلَامٍ. We were just newcomers into Islam. It's like trying to say to the listener, or the one who was going to listen to him, please excuse us for what we are about to tell you about what we have done, but because we were recently newcomers to Islam. That means what we have done is a mistake, but please have an excuse for us. We just embrace Islam. قال, and we passed by a low tree, and this low tree is called Dhatu Anwat. And this tree, the Kuffar of Quraysh, whenever they go to a battle, they hang their weapons on the tree, on the branch, to make it, to recharge it, like a booster. So to make it more killing for the enemies. So they hang it, and also they sit around the tree, and they make some sort of rituals and festival around that tree. And then the following day they take their weapons, thinking that weapons have been recharged now, it's got power. And then they will go and kill the enemies with it. So when they passed by that Anwar, they left it, and then they passed by another low tree, which is as big as the first one, but it hasn't got any significance about it. The other one, it's been beautified, is known. This one, So they wanted the Prophet ﷺ to have sort of a blessings on top of it, to make it as well like the Anwar of the other ones. So the Messenger of Allah, make us that Anwar like they have that Anwar. Just like they have this supercharging sort of tree, make us as well another charging tree here for us. So the Prophet ﷺ, even they are ignorant, that ignorance of theirs did not prevent him from admonishing the matter and addressing it, even with very strong tone. He said, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. It means, what are you talking about? Allah is greater than what you said. Allahu Akbar. Qultum. You have said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ, by the one in whose hand is my soul. كَمَا قَالَتْ بَنُو إِسْرَائِيلَ لِمُوسَى عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. Just like the children of Israel said to Musa alayhi salam, اجعل لنا آلهة كما لهم آلهة. Make us a God like they have a God. So those Banu Israel, when they came to Musa alayhi salam, he said, make us a God. اجعل لنا آلهة, like they have a God. They made a God even from the calf. The same thing they did, the companions, by asking, and those are the newcomers. Not Abu Bakr, not Umar, the newcomers. Abu Waqid al-Laythi, he just embraced Islam 3 months ago. That's all. 3 months ago, because the repossession of Mecca, after that, 3 months, then they went to Hunayn. So Prophet ﷺ, he said, then, لَتَرْكَبُنَّ سَنَنَ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ. You will embark upon the path of those before you. At the end of the hadith, one of the companions said, Messenger of Allah, al-Yahuda wal-Nasara, Are we going to be imitating the Yahud and the Christian and the Jews? He said, Faman. Who else? Who else? We are imitating the Kuffar, the Christian and the Jews, in the way they celebrate the Christmas or the Easter. Isn't it true that some of the brothers or the fathers or the sisters or the mothers, they buy, for example, Easter eggs to their children? True or not? Isn't it true? Isn't it true that some of them, they buy them something which is linked to, for example, the Bassam, which is the Halloween? Isn't it true that even some of the Muslims who are after any source of money, whether it's halal or haram, they will sell turkey on the day of Christmas? Isn't it true? Isn't it true that we find people celebrating Christmas by sending Christmas card or receiving Christmas card? Isn't it true that the people as well imitating the disbelievers by making as well Eid al-Adha cards and Eid al-Fitr cards? Same thing now. Instead of slaughtering animals now, we're going to be what? Adha, slaughtering a cart, slaughtering the cart. So we have as well, this is imitation, exactly the same. Sending, Mubarakah with a cart. So you bring in a car, and usually, of course, the Muslim, they would bring the one who's got the crescent shape, and that's it. The crescent is a symbol of Islam. Who said that the crescent is a symbol of Islam? This is by the flag of Turkey or Pakistan, but it's nothing to do with Islam. The crescent, the symbol of Islam. Prophet ﷺ never had a banner or flag that got crescent on it. But the people, subhanAllah, they want to exactly do like the people who are disbelievers. They have a cross, should have a crescent. It's not right, brothers. Don't compete like this. People have the church high and so the Muslim now, they build masajid and they put minarets, and they spend so much money on the minaret that they could build another 3 masajid with this minaret just for the sake of being higher than the Christian church. Who said that? لَتَتَّبِعُنَّ سَنَنَ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ شِبْرًا بِشِبْرٍ وَذِرَاعًا بِذِرَاعٍ. I'm going to tell you something which is, you're going to be amazed. Even having holiday on the Jum'ah, it's a bid'ah. Having the holidays on the Jum'ah is exactly competing with the Jews when they are believing on Saturday that everything should stop working. Even the animals should stop working as well. So Saturday, the day of Sabbath, that's it. Allah had created heavens and earth in 6 days, and He rested on the 7th day. So He did not do work, we're not allowed to do work. Nobody is allowed to do anything on Saturday. Now people, they take Friday as well, a day off. Allah says, I think the reciter, I came to the second rak'ah, he recited the last verses of Surah Al-Jumu'ah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا. Do you know what the sign is in Arabic? Okay. All you who believe, if it's being called for the day of the Jumu'ah, then come to the remembrance of Allah, the Salah, and leave what? Transactions, business. So it's a day for work, not they leave house. وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ إِن كُنْتُمْ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله. Subhanallah. When you finish, go back where? To your business. So they're working on Friday before and after. But people, they want to imitate the disbelievers. They have the day of Friday because they have the day on Sunday off for the Christians. They Saturday off for the Jews. They want to have Friday off as well. No, it's a bid'ah. That is for the Muslim country. If you have a Muslim country and the Khalifa, he will decide when to make a holiday. When is the suitable day? It doesn't have to be Friday. Yes, he will give them a time for example, to close their, or time, for example, to leave their offices before the Jumu'ah to get to the house and have dressed up on a shower. But it doesn't mean it's a day off. People taking the day off. Some people, they don't know that. They have never heard about this. That the Jumu'ah to have an off is a bid'ah. Yes, it is bid'ah. Because we're following those people who are from the innovators, the people who are from the non-Muslims, they're doing the same thing. Ibadallah. Now, after this, we need to ask or answer some questions that the people ask a number of times. And this is to do with what we are living. So I'm a person who work in a company. With this company, they give us a bonus. And this bonus, we receive it on Christmas. Can we take it or not take it? That's the first question. Second question, a person who is in the day of Christmas, on his house he received a gift. Should he accept it? Should he not accept it? A person being invited by another person, that is, who is Christian, to celebrate on the day of Christmas, permissible or not permissible? A person who's married to a Christian woman and she's Christian until now. Is she allowed to go celebrate with her parents if she's a Christian? Can I allow her? All these questions, they are in the mind of the people. They want to have an answers. Okay, first of all, we'll start with the question that we have started with. A person who's having his bonus for work on Christmas, can he accept it or not? The bonus, brothers and sisters, is for you because you've done well. So you deserve it. Now these people, they give it to you on the day which they think it is a day which is blessed, or a day which is good. Now that bonus is yours, and take it and don't leave it. Because if you're not good at work, if you're a person who does not come at work, they're not going to give you a bonus. They're going to kick you out. But because you are good, so they give you the bonus, but they have delayed this bonus or specified the Christmas, so you receive it because it's not a gift for that day. It's your right. But if they had given you a present for the day of Christmas, and usually the present is for the disbelievers, they give them, for example, a bottle of alcohol. For example, I was in the British Embassy in Jordan, and one of the brothers most of the people who are working there is a Muslims, except the ones who give the visa. So the doorman and everything, Muslims. So they said, every time we have, for example, Christmas or the Queen's birthday, they send us, bottles of alcohol. And we didn't drink alcohol. Can we sell them? Sell them and get the money and buy with it? It's a question. Okay. Can we sell them to the ones in the embassy for half price? Question. All right. If it is being a present for the sake of that issue, you're not allowed to have it, and you have to return it back. But if you don't know the person who sent it, that's a different scenario. So, if I know that this company is giving it to me, I will give it to them. I'm a Muslim. I don't receive gifts on such festivals. Especially if it is haram, of course. And you're not allowed to sell that whiskey, whatever it is, and get money. Because it's haram in itself. I can't give that to a non-Muslim because it's haram. It's haram in my religion, haram for him, and haram for me as well. Right. As if it is being put into your house. Let's say, for example, somebody had left you a laptop outside your door. Let's say, for example, just for the sake, and you don't know who had given it to you. And it's from Christmas. And it says on top of it, Christmas. It doesn't say anonymous. You don't know who's sent it. What should I do? Go and break it? No, brother. This is money. Take it. It's yours. Because you don't know. If you knew who it is, you're not allowed to receive it. You have to go and get it back and give it to the person and explain to him in the nice way. You have to tell him, thank you very much for your generosity to give me that such present. But I'll tell you what, this festival is exactly like the festival we have in our Islam. And explain to him that we do have one who's coming in about less than a month, which is that the Muslim, they celebrate the birth of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. We're not allowed to accept any gifts even on that day, or any food which is made for that day. So the same thing we say regarding the birth of our Prophet Isa alayhi salam. We believe this has nothing to do with his birth, and we don't believe that we should not celebrate like this way. And thank you very much for this gift, and you give it back. So use it for da'wah, and at the same time you have to explain to him why you're not accepting it. It's not because I hate you, no, but this is not really accepted for me. I'm a good neighbor to you, and you have to be good to your neighbor. You have to be the best for your neighbor. You are actually showing Islam by your actions, by doing good to your neighbor. Even if he's a Jewish, even if he's a Christian, even if he's a Hindu, you have to be a nice person to your neighbor. For the Prophet ﷺ taught us that the worst of the people whom his neighbor cannot be secured against his evil. That this neighbor of his is really all the time can't sleep properly because you don't know what you're going to come up with. What are you going to come up with? You're going to park a lorry in front of his house. You're going to bring a loud music next to him. You're going to make firecrackers, next to his house. Your children are going to be pelting stone in his... You can't sleep. You don't know what he's going to expect from you. This neighbor, if it's the case, then you are most evil. Sharrunnas. That is the most evil. But the person who is neighbor can't feel secure against his evil. Ibadallah, you have to be good to your neighbors. So the person is not allowed to accept the gift from a person whom he knows on that day, and he has to return it back in the nice way and to tell him that I can't accept it because it is such and such, and explain to him. As for the third question, a person who has, for example, that is something which is linked to that day. He doesn't know the person who had sent it. Like, for example, somebody sent him flowers. And those flowers are especially for Valentine. You could tell it's Valentine. I'm not allowed to accept them. I have to put them in the bin. Because if I put them inside, my children will know it's Valentine flowers. Or a pumpkin, which is for Halloween. I'm not allowed to put it inside. Even though I don't know the person who had sent it to me, I put it in the bin. Because those are reminders of myself or my children or my family that, imagine that your son is going to ask you, what is this for? Oh, Christmas. Like a Christmas tree. Even you don't know who had sent it to you. You take the Christmas tree. You could, for example, chop it off and use it for coal and things like this and burn it. But you're not allowed to have it in the house as a souvenir or something to decorate your corner. Imagine your child is going to ask you about that. You're going to be responsible before your Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have a Christian wife. Now the Christian wife, am I allowed to marry her in the first place or not? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He had addressed us in Surah Al-Ma'idah, and some of the people, they don't understand the word wal-muhsanat. Wal-muhsanat. What is the word al-muhsanat? That I am allowed to marry a woman from the Christian or the Jews, nobody else. I'm not allowed to marry from the Sabi'ah. I'm not allowed to marry from those people who are Hindus. I'm not allowed to marry. Okay? It has to be from the Christian or the Jew. I could marry from the females of the Christian or the Jew, but for one condition, that is muhsanah. But there is a hidden condition that the people they don't know about. That is the hidden condition. For the Prophet ﷺ, he said, take care of your women, فَإِنَّهُنَّ عَوَانٌ عِنْدَكُمْ. That is, they are like slaves. They're not slaves, they're like slaves. And always the slave follow his master. Do you understand what I'm saying? And at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, where the Islam is powerful, the Muslim countries were powerful, and the upper word is for Islam, when you marry the non-Muslim from the Christian or the Jews, then anything that would happen, you have the upper word. So you are the master. Whereas at these days, you are the slave. The rules serve them. In case of separation or divorce, where the children are going to go? According to the non-Muslim law, it goes to them. In Islamic law, they will have another type of judgment. So, and even that she will have the custody, but she's not allowed to teach them non-Islam. She's not allowed to take them to the non-Muslim places. Do you understand me? So the upper hand is for the non-Islam, for the no-Islam. Because of that, we say, our Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah said, it is not allowed to marry a Christian woman or a Jewish woman until she embraces Islam. So, any person who has done so, no problem. But now, for a person who's thinking to marry Christian or a Jewish, he's not allowed. He can't use the verse of Surah Al-Ma'idah to say, Allah said, وَالْمُحْصَنَةُ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ. The ones who are from Al-Kitab, al-Muhsana. What is Muhsana? Muhsana, interpreted in two ways. Muhsana, that means she does not fornicate. Or Muhsana, that she hasn't got any marriage before. That means she's a virgin. And our Shaykh Al-Albani takes it, the Muhsana, that this woman, she did not have any relationship of intercourse, regardless whether illegitimate or legitimate. Whether it's through marriage or non-marriage. So let's say it is through, that she's a woman, she married. And let's say the scholars, they allowed it. But remember, the scholars, they want you to know that you have to marry a woman whom you have the upper word on her. Not she's got the upper word. That means she's got now been helped by the laws, which is the laws, which are non-Islamic laws. That is to have the upper hand. And even the non-Muslim fathers, they're complaining in the parliament to get their rights as fathers. You know that? They want fathers because there's a day for the mother, everything for the mother. There's no day for the father, for them. So, I don't know if you have seen this Batman who climbed on the House of Parliament, because he wants the rights for the fathers. I don't know if you remember that or not. I remember him seeing him there because he wants to have the rights for the male, for the men. There's no right for the men, it's always for the women. Because it's not Allah's law. It's man-made law, they change it whenever they want. You've heard about as well the law of raping your wife. How can you rape your wife? I've never heard about raping your wife. It's my wife. You're raping her. That means I am making a marital relationship with her without her consent. Subhanallah. So she's got the right now. She's got the upper hand. I can't give you today. I can't give you tonight. So if you did it, she could file you to the judge and then that's it. It's rape. How can it be? This is Islamic law. It doesn't really work. Or he's married for that sake, to secure myself. So I'm ready for her. She's ready for me. So this is one of the main rights for myself. I can't just say, for example, that she's got the right to say or take me to the judge that I have made marital relationship with her without her consent. Right. After that, there are questions, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to let some questions be here in front of me. I'm going to leave those questions for you to ask me. Maybe you have more questions than what I'm going to give you. So if you haven't fulfilled the question I've got in front of me, then I will fire them. So I'll leave inshallah now to address me with a question that you need to know about celebrating or participating or sharing the disbelievers regarding their festivals. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن ينفعنا بما قد قلنا وجزاكم الله خيرا. نعم. تفضل.
You talk about dyeing the hair. Is it permissible to dye the hair black?
Right. Question. Am I allowed to dye my hair black? Now, when I talked about the dye, they said the person who has got grey hair, then he dyes his hair. Now, first of all, I did not go expand into this issue because there's more to that issue. Number one, it is when it gets grey, I dye it. It's not because I want to change the colour of my hair. That's number one. Number two, I dye it, but I don't really keep looking at the mirror every day. Oh, it's got grey hair, dye it again. It's not that. The issue of it is to be different from the Christian and the Jews. It's not to make sure that you are looking young all the time. Number three, black is not allowed. Prophet ﷺ, he said, there will be people, Hadith ibn Abbas, there will be people who are going to be dyeing their hair with black like the bottom part of the pigeon. They will not see paradise or smell the fragrance of it. So it's a major sin to dye with black, except if it is from the leader on the day of the battle. He's got an army full of 50 plus or 60 plus years old, and he wants to deceive the enemies. He paints them black to make sure that they are looking what? Young, and put fear in the hearts of the enemies. Yes, it's allowed. Other than that, it's not allowed. So we have, mashallah, our brother here. He has a ginger, mashallah, beard. Alhamdulillah. The colors has to be, al-hinna wal-katam. It doesn't mean it has to be hinna. Some people think, I can't buy a dye. It has to be hinna. No, brother. You could buy a dye. No problem. A dye from there. Buy it even from the women's section. No problem. Okay, from the women's section. But the dye has to have the color, which is al-hinna. That means the color which is like brown, medium brown, not black, medium brown. But you can't have green. You can't have purple. You can't have blue. Those are colors and not colors. This is not dyeing. It's actually making a trend or a fashion. Okay? Now. Jazakallah for the question. Fadal. Get closer. And by the way, this is not for you, for addressing only, there's no salamu alaikum when you ask a question. It's not from the sunnah. We have learned this from our scholars, that when you ask the question, you don't ask with the salamu alaikum, even we say alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
My question is, on Fridays, you read by saying Jumu'ah Mubarak. Is that bid'ah or not?
Very good. That's a good question. If I see somebody as a Jumu'ah, I see Jumu'ah Mubarak. Is that allowed or not? We all the time, as I said, if it's something to do with the religion, I have to look. Did the Prophet ﷺ say? Did the companions do it? I know that how many Eids the Muslims have. The Muslims have the following Eids. That is, Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, even they call the Jumu'ah, is Eid, repeats itself every week. So how many Eids we have? 3 Eids. We do have Eid for the Hujjaj. That is the day of Arafah is Eid. Prophet ﷺ called it Eid. So you've got the day of Arafah is Eid for the Hujjaj. So that's an extra. That's why they have their khutbah on Arafah. They don't have their khutbah on the Eid of Al-Adha. It's their Eid on Arafah. And that's why they don't fast. But we, non-pilgrims, what? Pilgrimage, what? We fast. They don't fast. Right. Do I say Arafah Mubarak, Jum'ah Mubarak, Arafah, that means the day of Arafah? I know for a fact that the companions in Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr, that they used to, congratulate one another for the ibadah, because every Eid is at the end of an ibadah. So, for example, Eid al-Fitr at the end of Ramadan, fasting. The Eid al-Adha at the end of the Hajj. As for the Jumu'ah, it's at the end of the week. So after you made ibadah, you have this Eid al-Jumu'ah. So that is why you're not allowed to have a night prayer preceding the Jumu'ah. You're not allowed to specify Jumu'ah for fasting. Okay? So, as for the companion, did they say Jumu'ah Mubarak? No, they did not. Amma Mubarak, by the way, is gone. Do you understand it? Mubarak of Egypt is gone. Okay. So, Jumu'ah Mubarak is not really from the Sunnah, but we, alhamdulillah, we're happy on the Jumu'ah. That's why we dress up in the best of clothes, we come with the best of perfume, and we sit as early as possible in the Jumu'ah and gain as many as possible from the reward that Allah has given us on the day of Jumu'ah. Jazakallah khair. Tafaddal, Shaykh.
What about, I have seen people like Saturdays, Christmas, they going to a town center with big banners criticizing for the Christmas and so on.
Criticizing Christmas?
Yes, some of brothers like Al-Muhajirun and the
right. When we have talked about this issue, we have stated our aqidah regarding such festivals. We are not here advocating hatred between us and the non-Muslims. Verily, we are saying that this is not the type of integration that we are after. So, those people, when we say that the Christmas is not right, we're not celebrating it, we said we have to respect their right to believe in whatever they want to believe. I am not allowed to go in their own country, in their own land, and this is a Christian country, even though they call it as a secularist country. So, Queen is the head of the church. Queen is the head of the church. And that's why you have Easter, you have, even France, they call it secularist, not secularist, Christian country. And that's what we call it. That's why the people, is this the Dhabihat Ahl Kitab? Yes, it is the Dhabihat Ahl Kitab. That this slaughtering that takes place, it is from Ahl Kitab. Even though that some of them are agnostic, some of them are atheists, but the country itself, in totality, is what? Christian. That's why they have the cross in their, flag. And that's why they have the church. That's why they have, as well, the head of the church is the queen. I am not allowed whatsoever to go with these banners, and go and criticize like this into public, because it's not from the Islam. If you want to criticize, you criticize intellectually. Have a debate. Talk to them. Because you want to get them closer to Islam. You don't want to make them hate Islam. There are already people there on both sides, in our side and their side. They are trying to break the bridges, if you understand me. We're not going to help these people. Yesterday, I bumped into one from them. I bumped into one of them. And I would like you to share with me as well what I have had yesterday. I was coming to the superstore, Sainsbury, to park. And there was parkings all over full. So I'm parking during the night. So there was this parking. But this lady, she had her trolley and tied up to it her dog. And she's unloading her stuff by putting the trolley in the bay of my parking. So I waited. So she looks at me and she gives me this wave, shake of the head. She doesn't like it. And then she looks somewhere else. Why I'm not parking somewhere else? And she can't find any parking anyway. And she takes her time. And I'm taking my time. And then the worker comes in. Worker who is a non-Muslim. He comes in and he sees me. He went to her and they were talking. And I could hear what they're talking. And she said, Islam. The word Islam. Muslim. Racism. So I put the window down. I said, excuse me, can you move your trolley, please? Now I have to really step up. Because before I was really waiting and everything, but now I have to show that what you're doing is wrong. Please, can you move your trolley? She took her time, moved the trolley, and I'm taking my time. Alhamdulillah, patient. And then she left her door open a bit of time so I can't really park properly. So I parked my car. My car is an old bang, it doesn't matter. It scratches, it doesn't scratch. I reversed it, then I went out. And she said to me, clear off or something. I said, excuse me, behave yourself. She said, what are you going to do? I'm a police officer. I'm going to arrest you. I said, sorry? Where are you coming from? Come on, arrest me. What arrest me for what? Arrest me for what? People, England doesn't need people like you. England doesn't need people like you. You should be locked up. You're a police officer. I'm going to take your word now. I'm going to take your word. She said, I'm a doctor. Change her statement. And the person who came from there, he started, he helped her a bit. So I said, you are a racist, well, you are a worker, I'm going to report you. They won't trouble you. I'm going to drop you. Hate crime is called. Hate crime? That's it. So anyway, she said, I'm going to be witness for him. SubhanAllah. I left them both and I went. With the power of Allah Azza wa Jalla, went downstairs to the customer service. And there was a Muslim person there. He's a brother. Assalamu alaikum. Salam. I said to him, I want to report this lady, such and such. While I'm talking, both of them come down. So I played a trick here. I said, as for this gentleman, he's good, the worker, to make him on my side. And he was on my side, because he knows there's something wrong with that woman. And he's a good man, but she's claimed that she's a police officer. She said, I'm off duty. So, but if you're off duty, you're not allowed to do anything. She's not a police officer anyway. And she said, you're going to leave it like this? I said, no, I'm not going to leave it like this. You have to apologize. Anyway, that guy, when I said he's good, he became on my side. Alhamdulillah. After that, I said to the worker, another English worker, he came as well. I said, this woman, she's got something wrong. He said, yeah, it's very bad, cheese. As for this worker, please tell him I apologize. He's a good worker and everything. That worker, he followed me until he found me while I was shopping, and he came and hugged me. And he gave me, his name is Josh, and I gave him about Islam. SubhanAllah. So I grabbed the opportunity. By the way, we are Muslims. We don't really talk, Didn't she talk about Muslim? She said, yes, he talked about Muslim and Islam. And that's why I was really upset. We don't want people like that. Those people, they break the bridges. He said, yes, true. Right. I'm a Muslim. You want to know about Islam? And I grabbed that opportunity, to give him the kalima, the word. So, we have people on both sides. On our side, we have these muhajirun that you have said. May Allah fix them up. Wallah, may Allah fix them up. Those people, they put us in trouble. And the media is with them. They like the media. They love them. They make the people that Muslims are like these people. We're not like these people. Wallahi, we're not like these people. We are not allowed to be like these muhajirun. Yes, they are Muslims. I'm not going to say they're not Muslims. But what they're doing, they are actually making us back. Sending us 100 years back, in our da'wah. Making our da'wah difficult for us. It's not allowed to do what you have just said to me. Now.
Question.
Fadal.
Is it allowed for the children to play with the firework?
Good question. Am I allowed to do fireworks? Right. This is fireworks. I have to tell you. By the way, this here, all of this question regarding Christmas from the scholars. I printed them out. So if anybody wants to, it's there here. Everything is there. I printed it just to see it. Yeah, fireworks. Fireworks. Usually it is the case. They do it on the Gay Folks Day. Yes, the Folks Day. This one is he wanted to explode the parliament. So they make him a day now, a festival. Just like the Muslim, they make lots of festivals. They've got Hashura, they've got the Shabarat. You know Shabarat? Midnight of Sha'ban. They've got lots of festivals every day. They've got the Mother Day now. They've got the Tree Day, the Independence Day. Celebrate. Lots of festivals which are not true. The Eid al-Shajara, Eid al-Mish'arif, Eid al-Istiqlal. So he's asking me about firecrackers. I would say firecrackers on such occasion is actually participating with them. But you're asking me maybe firecrackers or fireworks in our Eid. Yes? That's a better question. Because in their Eid it's haram. Because you're participating with them. Whether it's the day 5th of November or it is not. Is it haram? And waste of money. But am I allowed to have fireworks for the children on my Eid? Now if we have said that the fireworks is actually imitating the kuffar, then we say it is not allowed. Just like the Christmas cards, we're having them for Eid al-Adha cards. Exactly the same. But if we find that, no, it's actually, we found a trace of it. The Prophet ﷺ, on the day of Eid, he made the people from Habasha, Abyssinia, to come and make acrobatics, like circus. And Aisha was looking at them. So if it's to enter the happiness on the hearts of the children, we say, avoid two things. That is number one, that is extravagance. So if it's fireworks on the day of Eid, no extravagance. What's extravagance? People that buy £1,000 fireworks. Or for example, £100 disappears in 1 second, or 1 minute, or 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. What's that? So if it's fireworks like ours, I used to have fireworks in my, we buy, 5 minutes for 5 pence, 10 pence, 20 pence, maximum £1. Yes, no problem. Can you find these things these days? I don't know. Go to the pound shop. So if it is the case, and as long as second condition it is safe, there's no problem to have in our Eid days for the children. But I don't think the people of the Kuffar, they make in their festival, in their Christmas, fireworks. So if we have it, for example, the children do, something which is like, we buy guns, You know, small guns like make a noise, no problem. They make like, for example, lights and everything. You do have that, yes? Yeah, same thing as well, fireworks, as long as there's no extravagance and there's safety, no problem, inshallah. Zak. Fadal.
Well, Christmas songs.
Christmas songs. You know, fathers have gross responsibility. Your children, you don't know what they are learning in school. You'll be amazed. One of the children come back at home, he said, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Subhanallah. And then I had to really dig underneath what's that word. I didn't study in this country. But I had to understand what is behind it. As a father and mother, you have to investigate. They're not allowed to go into participation of any songs, such things, because, as I said, when they're close in their Eid, then they're close in the hearts. Those children will have a closer heart to the disbelievers. Unfortunately, some of the children who see the other children, they don't celebrate this thing, straight away they would call them Wahhabis, Wahhabi children. The children, they say them Wahhabi children. Wallah, I have seen that. They call my children Wahhabi. And I said to my son, go and ask him what is Wahhabi. He said, what's Wahhabi? I said, I don't know. He said, my father told me that you're Wahhabi, khalas. My father told me Wahhabi, you are Wahhabi. He doesn't know what's Wahhabi. And even my son doesn't know what's Wahhabi. So, because he doesn't celebrate, because he doesn't go to the church, because he doesn't sing, he's Wahhabi. So, subhanallah, these are the, unfortunately, they come from from the Pakistani community called the Brahmins. I don't know if you've heard about them or not. Brahmins. They call anybody who is not a Brahmi Wahhabi. And that's an insult, Wahhabi. They don't even, most of them, they don't know what the meaning of Wahhabi. Or maybe linked to Saudi Arabia, that's it, Wahhabi. But, you know that they're so ignorant. For example, if they have a fight, a Brahmi, for example, with a Hindu, the worst of insult he could come up with, you are a Wahhabi. So he's saying to the Hindu, or you are a Wahhabi. He doesn't know Wahhabi is to be Muslim. So he's saying Wahhabi, he must be a Wahhabi. Right, question from the sisters, it says, can you celebrate birthdays? I said that. You're not allowed to celebrate birthdays. Prophet ﷺ was born on Monday. We don't know he was born on the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal. This type of birthday was invented and innovated in the 4th century from the people called Al-Ubaydiyun, and never called them Fatimiyun. No, they're not followers of Fatima. In Egypt. And they even innovated more than that. They innovated all these types of Eid, like Al-Nayruz, Shamm al-Nasim. All of it in Egypt is being celebrated. Muslim, they've been having this sort of celebration of these days until they became a habit. They forgot the root of them, the original of them, which are from the paganism, from the Pharisee, Dawla al-Pharisiyya. Alright? So these are Ubaydiyun, they are Kuffar, when they have ruled Egypt. And that is why Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, he has said, any person who had made celebration like that, Allah has got nothing to do with him. He has done upon Kuffar. Because they are doing the Sha'aneen and the Nairuz and Shamm al-Nasim and Eid al-Fasikh and lots of it in Egypt. Birthdays is not allowed. Buy gifts for someone on their birthday is not allowed. To celebrate and participate in other person's birthday is not allowed. That's the answer to the question. 2 weeks before Christmas, there is a gift exchange at any school. We put our names in a hat. It's not allowed. I know that. The children, they put a name in the hat and they pick up the name and they give the gift to that person. It's not allowed to participate in such a thing. I'm making children not to participate in such a thing. Right. Now. Tafadhal.
What does the scholars say about Independence Day?
Independence Day. Also Independence Day. I wish that we are independent. We've never been independent. We are actually dependent. So the independence, actually the day of independence. Independence Day, or the day of Istiqlal, we call it in Arabic. They call it for his independence, but actually what they did, they have put somebody who is, a link with those people who they lifted. For example, they are independents, they free themselves from, for example, the British Empire or the French Empire. But they put a stooge for them to rule according to what the British want or the true or not, and they call it Independence Day. I would say, no, there is no such thing in Independence Day. There is no celebration as well for the beginning of the Hijrah Day, which is more important, the beginning of the Hijri Day, the Hijri year. We don't have celebration for that. All of that is to be from the bid'ah, wallahu ta'ala. Now, go on.
There are some Shabab some youth, they call people to the bid'ah in London. This Shabab are the brother say Muhajirun. We have another people who call, I don't know, they go to the Downing Street and they make, they make mudaharat.
What are they called?
For Khilafah. They call for Khilafah.
You mean Tahriri?
Yeah, Hizb al-Tahrir.
Hizb al-Tahrir.
For حبذا لو مثلا
Alhamdulillah, يعني this Hizb al-Tahrir. Hizb al-Tahrir called HT. Unfortunately, the youth are, the ones who have no knowledge, and they're pumped up with lots of enthusiasm, and they've been taught some slogans, words to say it, and he's from zero up to a person who can address people. He likes it. They teach him as well to be argumentative and argue for the sake of argument. And then they start going this, like he said, making uprising and protest in 10 Downing Street and so on and so forth. Now those people are not upon the haqq. The methodology of theirs is based upon Taqiyuddin Nabahani, and this methodology, I'm not going to go through it, but basically it is, they set what they want to do and then they look for the proof to support. This HT very easy can target those youth. So be careful on the youth, because they ask for the Khilafah, like he said, and the Khilafah. But I'm saying to him, brother, you have got a Khilafah in your house. Why don't you establish the Khilafah in your house first? Why don't you establish the Islamic state in your house with your family first? Because Allah will not establish you a Khilafah in the land unless you establish Khilafah in your house. Unless you implement the religion in your own house. If you can't implement it there, how can you implement it outside? So those people are, from them Muhajirun emerge. Muhajirun, the first stage for them, Hizb al-Tahrir. When they go extreme, they go Muhajirun. So the first stage for them, Hizb al-Tahrir, then they promoted to Muhajirun. That's what it is. And that is Al-Bakri. He was Hizb al-Tahrir, the leader of Hizb al-Tahrir. Then he promoted to the Muhajirun. Then Muhajirun checked out, now he is anything. He called himself Salafi, but he's not. And that is why we say to the brothers, when you have no knowledge, it's very easy to be a target. And you've got the twins and the desire, you want whatever you want. Let me just tell just one thing about the Hizb al-Tahrir, let me just put the people off on them. Hizb al-Tahrir, they believe that, first of all, and that by the way their creed and aqeedah have changed through history. From what they believe that it is no problem for the person to watch pornography. And that's maybe the youth that like it. The youth, they like that. And that's what pornography halal, alhamdulillah. So there's no haram in it. So the pornography, they based it upon the following. They say, and they have found that into the fiqh Hanafi, the Hanafi fiqh. That is, they say that if the person is listening to a verse contains sajda, sujud tilawa, then he must prostrate, whether he's reciting it or whether he's listening to it. When Allah says fasjudu, you have to what? Prostrate. But the Hanafi in their fiqh, they ask, what about if a person was in the mountains and he was not listening to the reciter directly, but the echo of that verse transmitted? Should he or should he not prostrate? After the arguments, they said, no, that's not the real voice. It's what? An echo. So he doesn't have to prostrate. It does not carry the same rule. From that, they said, okay, radio now. Is it the real voice of the person? Or is it the echo? Music is haram. Listening it from the stage directly, haram. Because it carries the rule. But if you listen through the radio, it's an echo. So no problem. Same thing with the image and the reality. Looking at this thing carries the rule, which is haram. But holding a mirror and looking at the woman, no problem, because it's an image. And by the way, they're sitting there, this is what they believe, even they don't know about that. So maybe Hizb al-Tahrir have a mirror in his pocket. So women are like this, haram, because looking at women. But you have a look at the mirror, you're looking at image. The image does not, and that's where the pornography comes. Magazine, this is the image. It does not carry, so if you can't look at the woman naked, but you could look at her, what? The image of the woman. No problem. And that's in their doctrines, in their teaching. And as I said, some of them they know about that, and some of them they don't know. And this manhaj is not a right manhaj. And as I said, it's been introduced by this person, not a long time ago. And we tell the brothers who are there, maybe you are a good brother, you're after the haqq and you want to establish the khilafah, but this is not the way to establish the khilafah. First of all, let me see you come to the jama'ah. They don't. Come and dress up as a Muslim. They don't. They dress up as anybody. Come and learn the Quran. They don't. They only just talk about khilafah, khilafah, khilafah. And then when they say, you are a person working from the bottom, we work from the top. MashaAllah. You work from her, la ilaha illallah, we work from... We'll say to him, how did the Prophet ﷺ started his da'wah? How did he? Did he plot against the leader of Quraysh? Did he cooperate and to make assassination for the person who was leading? Did he join a member of the parliament? There was a parliament. Did he join the parliament and then he introduced what he wants and then had got votes and voted the Prophet ﷺ inside and then from inside he changed? Did he do that? Did the Prophet ﷺ prepared to go and fight the Romans and the Persian and that empire? What did he? What did he do? How did he start his da'wah? He started his da'wah by the word La ilaha illallah. Going to the people in Mecca, around the Kaaba, in the Mawsim, in the occasion of the Hajj, say La ilaha illallah. That's how he started, from the foundation. How are you going to beat people to go and make jihad when they haven't yet learnt their aqidah? How can you make the people call them to make da'wah? They're going to call da'wah. You haven't studied usul al-thalatha, you won't make da'wah. We're going to teach you how to make da'wah. Brother, teach him first of all, A to Z, how to worship Allah properly. Because you're going to be chucking him there to be vulnerable for those people to give him anything. And it could be easy hunt. They give him anything. And he could learn anything. This as well, some of the groups, they teach da'wah, how to make da'wah, how to be a person to make da'wah. Brother, before you make da'wah, first of all, educate yourself. You have to have education. I can't give a go-ahead to a person to give a da'wah when he hasn't studied the usul al-thalatha. You have to study the usul al-thalatha. Bring me from the scholars that you can make da'wah when you are ignorant. Bring me from any scholar, please, who says it's okay to make da'wah when you are ignorant. Is there such a thing? No. Al-ina'u yandahu bima fi. If the bowl is empty, it will give emptiness. If you are a person who has no knowledge, you're not going to give except for ignorance. No. I'm going to, inshallah. Yeah, discussion or you mean argument would be a better word. Argument. I argue with lots of them. I mean, this is not really to talk about the Hizb al-Tahrir. I just said, you have just asked me about it and I addressed it. If you have any question from the admins who are running the show, do you have any question? Because I have to go and I have given more than what I've told you going to give. Have any questions? Jazakumullah khair, subhanakallah. Yeah, go on. Quickly.
Is it the same ruling with regards to the celebrations with Muharram? Quite a number of Muslims send texts.
Very good. Ashura, you mean Ashura. 10th of Muharram. All the hadiths regarding Ashura, that is at-tawsi'ah, that is to be giving money on the day of Ashura, celebrate the day of Ashura, it is not sahih, it is not authentic, it is fabricated. What should the Muslim be on Ashura? Should he be sad or should he be happy? Not sad nor happy. You are fasting the day of Ashura because the Prophet ﷺ had fasted the day. And you fast the day of Tasu'ah, which is the day before, because the Prophet ﷺ said, if I live for the following year, which he did not, I will fast the 9th day. So we're not happy, we're not sad. We're not happy, so it is not, so we are fasting because the Prophet ﷺ fasted it. Yes, Allah saved Musa ﷺ, we are happy. Yes, we are sad that Allah made that day as a day when the grandson of the Prophet ﷺ was murdered, as Hussein. But we don't have the happiness of that sadness. We are celebrating, we're doing it according to what the Prophet ﷺ told us. And we say to those people who make this day of Ashura as a day of festival, it's not allowed. Only you fast the day of Ashura and the day before, and you get an expiation of what? Of what? Whole past year. Why do you fast the day before? Not to imitate who? The Jews. Because the Jews, they fasted. They don't fast the same hours of fast, but because the Jews, they fasted, we be different from them. We fast a day with it. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.